We want to get it on because we don't get along. We want to get it on because we don't get along.
What up? What up? Oh yeah. Well, here I stand with the mic in my hand, and I will pray to the Lord. I do the best that I can. 'Cause in a world where possession is a question of a man's worth, but we all are the same nature. So I'm sticking around and I'll be dropping it down. I'll be kicking my sound just like a smoke. Never quit because it makes my belly grow. I will get me out of this one more time and I say, can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out of here? Can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out? One for the money and two for the show. Three to get ready to bust down. You're doing it. The one for the money and two for the show. Three to get ready to bust down. You're doing it. The boom boom pack of my crews got so bad. I never ever quit. Keep it hitting like a trap with the boom boom pack of my crews got so bad. I never ever quit. Keep it hitting like a trap. Situation that I'm facing, I'm not gonna leave this earth without my place in the world that I've been giving in stress becomes a dividend. Walk 100 miles of style for living it. Cause I've been sticking around and I've been dropping it down and I've been kicking my sound just like I'm smoking. Never quit cause it makes my family proud. Would you help me out of this one more time and I say, can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out of here? Can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out? I want for the money and two for the show. I'm free to get ready to bust down. You're doing it. The one for the money and two for the show. I'm free to get ready to bust down. You're doing it with the boom boom pack of my crews got so bad. I never ever quit. Keep on hitting like a trap with the boom boom pack of my crews got so bad. I never ever quit. Keep on hitting like a trap. Can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out of here? Can you help me? Can you help me get the hell out?
And in the meantime, some news this morning, according to USA Today. Let's see, what is the date? Yesterday morning.
Today's Friday
Trump,
the 14th.
Is it? Yeah. Trump has, he wants to mail in a vote now after saying that you shouldn't be allowed to do that for so long. He's going to have to do it through Palm Beach in Florida. And I guess he's going to get some pushback on this because of his such strong stance in not doing mail-in. But they say now he's requested to do one. But I guess he's in a bind. You got to do it or not get your votes.
My vote is very important. I think I could do it very super. It's a super vote.
Yeah.
It's a way to do it.
And then it goes on
across.
there, but yeah. So he may have some issues there. The other thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, we'd hear some from Biden, but I think he's still asleep.
Yeah, and
they tried to wake him up to tell him that he selected Kamala, but I don't think he understood.
well, I wonder how they found the key to his basement. Or they're keeping him down there.
That's true.
Yeah, and then locally here, something we have going on is our Save Our Children March. Now, this one's something I'm involved in personally, so it's a little bit of a plug, but I don't think anybody would disagree with what we're trying to do here. Obviously, we've seen all the reports of the pedophilia and the sex trafficking and all this stuff with children coming out. Whether, all of the reports are true or not, if even half of them are true, then we've got a problem. So a friend of mine, Britt, set this up along with another buddy of mine, Jimmy, have set up this group on Facebook, Save Our Children Myrtle Beach March, and I'm going to get the info, but I have to click back on the button. I know it's going to start at Barnacle Bill's in Myrtle Beach at 10 a.m. Gage, who owns the place, has agreed to open up early for us, and the reason we're starting a little early is so we all don't die of heat stroke before it even starts.
Oh yeah.
So the menu and the bar will be open there, and we'll start there and then maybe end up back there. But the important thing is we're gonna show our support to try to end this, or at least let people know that the world is watching. It may not end it, may not help it at all. Who knows? But it's better than nothing.
When you guys started that Facebook group, I think there were 32 when you sent me the invitation, and was it over 2,000 now?
5.2 thousand members I'm
Oh.
looking at right now.
Holy cow!
So
And that's just for Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, mostly, yeah, from
Yeah.
what I understand. But the echo's gone.
Okay.
We beat it.
We're so technically good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I won't spend a whole lot of time here on current events, but the march is very important. Barnacle Bills, 10 a.m. August, I want to say 29th. Yep, August 29th. So,
Now, is that a Saturday?
I believe, yeah, Saturday.
Okay.
Yep, so everybody's off work. You have no excuse. You have to be there or you'll be arrested.
All right. Well, we're gonna see if we can get another PSA not reverbing. Let's hope not. And then we're gonna come back and get back to our topic.
5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and another 16 million husbands, wives, children, and friends are caregivers. But the right foods may help you prevent it. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, the same foods that fight diabetes and heart disease can also keep your brain strong and memory sharp. Let's eat right to fight Alzheimer's.
Well, I'm glad I didn't start talking about that thing we were talking about earlier then, because
Oh, no.
everybody would have found out.
The STDs is
Yeah.
not something
Well,
to air. You
Yeah,
know?
we All right.
All right. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about the idea, what do I want to say, the essence. I don't think either one of us would disagree that Black Lives Matter.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I mean we like puppies. We don't want them to be abused. We don't think women should be beaten.
Correct.
Okay, but if I wanted to have like a nefarious organization to topple things over, what better way than to wrap it up in something that nobody could really disagree with, and if they did, they would be vilified.
Right.
Okay, that is what has happened with Black Lives Matter. The idea, the sociological general idea that Black Lives Matter has been co-opted by the four women who started this organization, who were trained Marxists.
Right. Admitted trained Marxists.
Yeah, and they were also involved in Antifa prior to starting Black Lives Matter.
Right. Which is telling.
Yeah. So it's no wonder that Antifa, Black Lives Matter organizations, now people, we want to get this real straight. We're not talking about the movement. We're talking about the organizations.
Yeah. The sentiment is real. The organization is a wolf in sheep's clothing, I guess you could call it.
It's an absolute, they're using it as a front in order to try to project their Marxist agenda.
Right.
Even when they're doing these things, some of these people get up for their speeches and they're trying to indoctrinate the people within the crowd into Marxist ideology.
Right.
And make it a Marxist call to arms. This is why we're saying it's dangerous.
Correct. And it's an ideology that goes back to, the McCarthy era and slightly even before, and then remains through the Cold War, and now it's popping up again. And that's especially with Antifa. BLM is they say they're trained Marxists, but they're still only fighting in the streets when somebody's shot for the most part. Antifa is out just running around and getting straight out of their first semester of college and right into the streets. And destroying things and trying to indoctrinate like they know what they're doing. That's why you see most of them are young kids with the BLM protest and Antifa. You hardly see any gray hairs out there.
No.
Because they're experienced and a little more educated.
Yeah.
They know that doesn't work in this country.
The thing that kind of cracks me up is when I was doing some research, they have on the Antifa website their Antifa fighting skills thing to go to. It's absolutely hilarious. Any of my friends that have had a military training, when they see this, it'll crack them up.
Yeah.
It absolutely. I mean, and that's why it's so fun to watch some of those videos where you see these poor Antifa people getting one punched into the ground.
There's plenty of those videos where they'll they'll walk up to these guys, and half of them are wearing, you know, the opposing side. I say opposing because it's not just one group. It's not just Trump supporters who are anti-Antifa, or you know, trying to meet these guys in the streets. But half of them will be out there wearing shorts and flip-flops, and these guys walk up in all black, decked out gear. I saw one had a bulletproof vest on with no protection, and it was just the cloth. So they really have no idea what they're doing. And then the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition, they go out and shoot 3 of each other by accident.
Or shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and then they're got the butt of their gun into the ground, which is goes against gun safety. So they're a danger to themselves, not mention anybody else. But where it's gotten me thinking is that, you know, like I say, this goes back to McCarthy when they said a spy under every bed, and he was ridiculed and put down and said it's not true. We don't have communists in our government, when at one point there was over 150 within our own government, what you would call spies. And we put that down in the name of trying to be benevolent and try to be understanding of a different ideology that we knew didn't work, that hurt the citizens of whatever country they're in where there's communism. We see it with Red China even. And these are supposed to be sophisticated, advanced societies. So I think that for too long we've allowed ourselves as Americans to be too easy on these other ideologies that hurt people. Now, people could say we shouldn't be going to other places and taking over and putting our Western ideas overlay on top of theirs. But, we're warring with these. This is a time when we're at war. So it gets tough to justify. And this started, McCarthy was just the beginning. A lot of people don't know that in the 90s, this continued under George H.W. Bush and Gorbachev. He would meet, with Gorbachev and talk about the bringing the wall down, which happened when he was president, even though Reagan made it happen. And talk about how this ideology is bad. And Gorbachev would say that you're not going to put your Western ideas on us. Well, that's not exactly what we were trying to do. We were trying to make sure that we were protected ourselves from it. But Bush went in and was very easy on them, so there was still this backdoor into getting these socialist and communist ideas in. And I'm trying to keep this short, but if you notice now, that's exactly what's happening in the streets. Even Antifa, they say socialism. Well, now that I just saw a video the other day, there's 2 kids in the street drawing the hammer and sickle and talking about how communism is so great, and the House anti-American, the House of Un-American Activities, the McCarthy era thing that's was trying to weed them out. They said that was a bad thing, and that we were enslaving people and not allowing them to have the type of government they saw fit, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, communists don't enslave people.
Right.
Yeah, and as the Chinese are sitting there trying to justify a greater population making less than or at 1,000 yuan a month, which is like $120 maybe.
Yeah. Absurd.
I was just watching today that the CCP, the Communist Chinese, right now are having infighting going on with their own Communist Party leadership. There's, I guess, I want to say, Peng is the one who is in charge right now of the Communist Party, and he is right now he was embarrassed at one of their last little get-togethers, party get-togethers, on purpose on national television. And the Communist Party set this up because they're trying to topple him to bring in this other guy as the leader of the party. So they've got a lot of things going on right now in Communist China that's kind of shaking them up. And again, part of it is because of the economic problems that they've had because of the things that have gone on in the last 4 years.
Right.
So, and a lot of it, I'm sure he's going to take a lot of the credit, but also just with COVID and all these other things, it's slowed down the economy worldwide. And so, they're hurting with trade as it is. Yeah.
And their own production. I just heard Foxconn could be a thing of the past because of COVID, which is the Chinese who's making all our iPhones and stuff. So the iPhone prices could go up. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot of unrest there within their own party and within the country.
And Huawei, which is another electronics. Mobile electronics company out of China. They're also having some problems out in the southern Asia because they got caught, I guess, stealing data and information by the, I think the Australians figured it out. And so they're trying to block it, and things are going off on that. So
Hadn't heard of the Australians. I thought you were going to mention the embassy shutdown in Texas. That so we've got more to worry about with China. But
embassy shutdown, and the Chinese are concerned because we're changing the logo on our embassy in Beijing to not say China, to say that this is our Beijing embassy, because they're afraid that we're going to have one in Taiwan.
See, they don't want that.
And then they think we shouldn't, but we're not going to recognize them as the legitimate government of China.
All right.
So, here it is, almost half a century later, and we're still fighting the same battles, because they never really were over.
Yeah, still going on. I had something to pull up here which surprised me. I read that the Board College in upstate New York has an Alger Hiss, professor of social studies there. So there's a whole department set up. Columbia University boasts about it. It says the University in Washington is home to, I guess they're talking about Columbia. University of Washington is home to the Harry Bridges Center for Labor Studies, which showcases a celebration of communists in Washington history, as well as condemnation of anyone who dared criticize communism. Now, let me go back to that. It says, showcases a celebration of. Those words there alone tell you that we have a history of being soft on communism.
Oh, yeah.
And they could set up shop at any time. I don't mean to sound alarmist, but look at the news. All those kids are communist socialists that think that that's a better way to run the country. And we've seen over and over again that it's not.
I mean, to me, it just seems like it's insanity because, one, this is a failed economic system. Communism is a drastically failed system.
Oh, yeah.
Any kind of Marxist model, I don't even care if you go to Marxist to socialism. It's a failed model, because usually whatever they're trying to alleviate, correct, or help is what the ultimate victim is in the program.
That's the thing. They hurt themselves in the long run.
Yeah.
They're basically what you call fellow travelers. These kids now, at least, who are the new lead of this Communist Party, apparently, which means that they subscribe to the ideology of the political theory, but they're not actually a part of it, and they can't claim themselves to be a part of it because they don't know anything about it. So they're what they're described in history as fellow travelers. And the whole Marxist movement started out with it was a class war between thought the rich had too much power and oppressed the poor. So the Frankfurt School of Thought gets a hold of this, turns it into cultural Marxism. So now we're including women are oppressed, white males are the oppressors, and it went from just your socioeconomic status to your race, your gender, everything else. Which, again, look at the news. That's all they're talking about. Intersectionality. We all are included. We're very important. I'm important. Call me my right pronoun. If you don't, you end up in jail, which hasn't happened here yet, but it is in Canada.
Call him Z.
Yeah, Z, for the German "the." I don't know if is it German for "the." But then that leads into what's called critical theory, which came out of the Frankfurt School and came from Marxism, where it's basically critical of everything Western, but it puts people into groups. So you're no longer, it treats people as an abstraction of a group instead of an individual, which is ironic because if you listen to these kids, that's the opposite of what they want. Everybody's an individual, everybody's unique, everybody's different, we have a melting pot and this and that. But the whole ideology you're pushing is group thought, collectivism.
Collectivism. There we go.
Yeah.
Which, this is why the United States is so unique and so dangerous to that, because the United States was based on individualism.
Right.
And rugged individualism, meaning that you and I are empowered by a greater being. With these powers, we are given the tools and access to this world that's been created to be able to care for it and exploit it for the betterment of ourselves and for our neighbors.
Exactly.
This is very dangerous to the collectivist idea.
Right.
Because how can you control people that think they're empowered without government?
Right.
Or without a group, or without some sort of identity. And so, and I wish we could get more and more people to look into the ideas of individualism, explore objectivism. You don't have to adapt it, but you just at least explore the idea of it. I think I might have forwarded you one of my favorite Ayn Rand books, audio books.
Not the Fountainhead. It was what was the one you sent me? Not Atlas.
No, it might have been Fountainhead.
Maybe Fountainhead. It could be.
Because that is one of my one of my favorites out of Atlas. Actually, was not Atlas Shrugs was not one of my favorite Ayn Rand.
No, not one of mine either.
Reads on it. I don't know why it got so famous and so much play. But,
Yeah, the movie and everything.
Yeah, but again, people get confused. Objectivism and libertarianism, not the same thing.
Right.
So I get criticized when I'm talking about libertarianism, and they're like, "Well, I hate Ayn Rand." She hated libertarians, so good. You're just like her.
Well, they tried to mark her as a conservative too, and she wasn't that either.
No. Because again, objectivism is the ultimate, pentultimate in individualism.
Right.
And so, but it's something to explore and to look into. But we've got so many professors and teachers that are just absolutely indoctrinated and so on, that so narrowly into it. And I don't know if the people out here that are listening are familiar, and I know you are, with Matt Kibbe, with Free the People. And he has a great video grouping of the deadly isms. And he talks about communism, collectivism, and all those things. But he also talks about the academics and how they came to depend on promoting the kind of the collectivist communist ideas to protect their own incomes and the way they can survive and thrive in life.
Yeah, because to me it translates to laziness. I could be wrong, but at least with the kids now, it's that whole give me something for free, and especially if you're in a group of people who agree with you, you can rule by brute force, mob rule, instead of based on any kind of morality or set up through some governing party. And I'm being more conservative. There's a little bit of me that stays under the banner of some group ideals, not group thought, but ideas. To live, in a community, you have to be a part of it. So there is a little bit of this, I don't like to call it collectivism, but it's, we all agree on some things that we should abide by and some moral codes and that kind of thing. But with communism, it's the extreme version of that, where you are controlled and you do what they tell you or not. Well, and now the problem is the do what they tell you people are these kids who think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and to me, there's a subtle difference between collectivism and community. Community is fluid.
Yeah.
Because you can
That's
be
a good point.
part of the part of the community at some point, and then you can withdraw from it because you've got some different needs, different placement, geographic. It could be geographic, ideological, age. All these things can play into what type of community you're in.
Yeah.
But it's fluid. You kind of get out of it and then get into a different community.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with age, there could be subsets within the community where you're a part of the older population of the community and that kind of thing.
That was a shot.
I didn't mean use in particular.
That was a shot. That was a shot at me.
I'm just kidding. Will's old. He's a very old man.
I'd be angry, but it's time for my nap.
It's not even his real face. He had it replaced twice because it just fell off. I'm 40 now. Well, at the end of November. I think in November I'll be 40.
Last time I had a 40 was...
Speaking of that, I see your collection there.
Yeah.
That puts mine to shame. I like it.
Irish Girlfriend.
That'll do it. That will do it.
And my bong is in the back.
That's for
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope most of you enjoyed our little back and forth. Please give us your input and your thoughts on this, and we will include it in next week's show if we think that it's something worth including.
Yeah. It could suck. I mean, you could just be terrible at this. But
Yeah.
hey, I made it on the show, so anybody can.
And put something up there, and if it's really ridiculous, we'll make fun of you publicly.
And then you make fun of us.
That's true.
And that's to add to that, I've mentioned it on the last one, but we do want to have people on with us, whether it's call in or here in our makeshift studio here. But yeah, we want to try to have a guest on as much as possible to get out topics that people in the community think are worth talking about.
And if you've got some ideas and something that you'd like us to discuss, go ahead and put it into the pages in any of the ways. But if you can, please go onto YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube right now, and our Porcupine Pundit Productions channel, and go ahead, find the video that you're watching right now, click the like button, and subscribe, because that will help us in the end too. Because we desperately are going to be needing some more materials that are coming up, so we don't have reverb, and so we can have the camera setups a little bit better, and to see if we can get some interns or somebody in here to help us out a little bit, so we're not having to do 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, well, he's right as of now. I don't know if you can tell, I'm running audio. He's got the video switching, and we're learning this equipment. So thanks for anybody who has watched. Really appreciate it because of the technical difficulties, especially. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We really do. We really do. And we're also going to be running a little special for those who already contributed to us. And there's one person in particular that we're going to be dedicating for their sacrifice to let us get new equipment. And,
I forgot who it is.
Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Rob in maintenance.
Yep.
So
Well, yeah.
Yep.
That was an incredible what he did for us there.
Yes, absolutely. And next week, we are not going to announce exactly what our topics are going to be for next week, but believe me, they're going to be absolutely stellar. It's going to be great. We're great. The only things we do are super. We're excellent in all the ways that we do this.
And you can tell because of the hand movements who
Yes.
that was.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
All right. Take care, everybody.
We want to get it on because we don't get along.